did the analysis, and if the Minnesota bill for Uber drivers became law here in New York State, I would earn 40% more just last week, yet I still don't support the bill. Let me explain. First, I had to look at my Uber earnings sheet from last week, and I analyzed all 40 trips that I did, and I earned a whopping $538. I broke it all down, and there's a spreadsheet in the website so you can look at every single ride if you want to take a look at it. And then I paid myself the $1.45 per mile and the 34 cents per minute. And when it all sums up, I would have made an additional $105 over the $538 that I did earn if this bill became law here in New York State. Yeah, that seems good, but there are 3 reasons why I think this is a bad deal for drivers. Number 1 is economic implications. At the end of the day, that $100 some odd in increased payment to me has to come from somewhere. If you looked at what the customers paid, and again, what my earnings were, and the Uber service fee was actually, after a $5 miscellaneous payment, was $3.71. So Uber doesn't have the money to pay me more money. I think the first thing that would happen would be the promotions would go from 150 down to 50 or something like that. But at the end of the day, a lot of drivers don't earn promotions. And so if they wanted to get increased fares, that would have to probably come from the riders. And that's obvious. Anytime there's a minimum wage set, and this is a minimum wage, in fact, it says it in the legislation, it says it's a minimum wage, Section 2 of the bill. So with any minimum wage, it's going to have a price increase. And with any price increase, 2 things are typically going to happen. There'll be less riders wanting to request rides because it's more expensive. In fact, the average fare for my week last week would have gone from like $15 something to like $22 something. And that fare increase would, not everybody would want to pay that. So there'd be less of, riders. And I think because there's a promise of getting paid more, there'll be more Uber drivers wanting to get those fares. So thus will be an increase in supply and a decrease in demand. And that will lead to some sort of unemployment / loss of opportunity for us as drivers. The second part to this bill that I don't like is that it devalues humans. It emphasizes a per mile payment. This is not the way I like to think of me as an Uber driver. Yes, my car has costs, but I want to get paid for my time. I want to make as much money per hour in my life. I don't want to make as much money as per mile that I drive. And this mentality of a per mile is the way a lot of drivers feel. And I think it comes from the old idea of a rate card and et cetera. Think about this, $1.45 per mile is what it wanted to pay. My cost per mile is about 6 cents for gas, 4 cents for maintenance, and 10 cents for depreciation. It's 20 cents per mile, and they want to pay me $1.45 per mile. That seems exorbitant and doesn't make a lot of sense. Even if I had a very expensive car, it's still paying 3x for that mile. And here's the worst part. It only pays us 34 cents per active minute, which means like even if all 60 minutes I was getting paid, I'm still getting paid only like $20 an hour before taxes. I'd rather the priority be focused on us as drivers earning as much money as possible as humans, as opposed to my car spinning its wheels getting paid. The third reason why I don't support this bill, and this is the more personal one, is I think that it's immoral for the government to step in and force a business to pay its employees more. The morality is this. We already are in a free market economy in the sense that I don't have to work for Uber. If I don't like Uber, I can do something different. I have choice today. Furthermore, every single time a trip comes in, I have choice. Right? I don't have to take every single trip. I choose to work when I want to work and take the trips that I want to take. If I don't think it's going to make me and my family enough money, I can choose to do something different. If I want to go make more money, I can become a lawyer or a doctor, or I can drive a bus or become a pilot. There's a million opportunities for us to all make a lot more money. Doesn't mean I don't want to make more money. I just don't want the government getting involved. I don't want to cede my personal freedom and liberty to the government. Yeah, I want to make more money, and that's a good thing, and it's exciting. And yeah, maybe in this particular scenario, me as an Uber driver, I become a winner. But there are losers, and that loser would be the riders. The riders are going to have to pay more. That other loser would be Uber. And while we may have our problems with Uber as drivers, I still don't want the government to force Uber to pay me more. Because here's the deal. Today, while that might be a winner, tomorrow, the government might get involved in another transaction that I'm involved in, and they're going to force me to pay more, right? I'm not only an Uber driver, I'm a consumer, and we don't want government becoming this arbiter of what's fair in terms of economic outcomes. We all have free will as citizens here in the United States. We should not let this negative impact from the economics of this bill happen. We should really watch out when Uber or the government tries to emphasize the value of the vehicle and de-emphasize the value of the humans. And we shouldn't cede our free will to the government, right? We shouldn't hope that government intervenes on our behalf so we can make more money. We should do what we can as free humans to do what we can to make the most amount of money that we possibly can. Thank you so much. This is Tip You in the App. I created Tip You in the App for you. It's from one driver to another. And I want to come through on that promise of when somebody says, hey, I'll tip you in the app. And we know they're not going to tip us. Take a look at all the numbers. Go to my website, the spreadsheet there. Let's get involved in a healthy debate.